Okay, let's just jump right in. We have to unpack this. A truly seismic shift just rocked the entire National Basketball Association.
It really did.
I mean, it is not often that a single trade can fundamentally redefine two separate franchises and, send these massive shockwaves through the rest of the league.
No, it's rare.
But that is exactly what happened the moment we got confirmation. Trae Young is headed to the Washington Wizards.
And that's our mission for this deep dive, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about the names on the jerseys.
Exactly. It's not just Young for C.J. McCollum and Corey Kispert. We have to dig into the specific motivations for both Washington and Atlanta.
And the ripple effect.
And the huge, immediate ripple effect. Because that's where the story really gets interesting for everyone else.
That is the perfect way to frame it. I mean, we are watching teams not just swap talent, they're swapping entire identities.
Right.
This deal, it signals the definitive end of that 7+ season Trae Young era in Atlanta. A story of, amazing individual brilliance, but pretty limited team success.
And for Washington.
It's the immediate, ambitious start of a brand new chapter. They are basically shouting from the rooftops that their rebuild is over.
So let's start with Washington then, because for years they've been the definition of a rudderless rebuild.
Stuck in the middle.
And this move, bringing in a guy like Young, a high-usage superstar,
Yeah.
it feels like throwing a match on a very dry field. What was driving them to push all their chips in right now?
It really boils down to organizational conviction. Or maybe organizational impatience is a better word for it.
Okay.
The reports we're seeing emphasize that their top execs, Michael Winger and Will Dawkins, they see Trae Young as the only player out there who could accelerate their timeline this dramatically.
So they're jumping from the bottom to, what, a playoff contender overnight?
That's the hope. They believe they have enough young pieces that now, with Young as the centerpiece, they leapfrog multiple steps in the process.
But hold on, if Washington is still, technically rebuilding, isn't this reckless? Acquiring a player who's famous for high-volume offense, but not so much for elevating a team's defense?
That is the billion-dollar question. And it's the critical one that the source material raises right away.
It has to be.
It's a massive, massive risk. Young is an elite offensive engine, no question. Historic numbers. But his arrival means Washington now has to completely figure out how to defend.
So what's their thinking?
Their analysis seems to be that you secure the elite talent first, you get the non-negotiable foundation, and then you figure out the complementary pieces later. For them, Young was that foundation.
And here's where it gets stickier than just a box score, because this wasn't just a front office move. The reporting is clear. Trae Young wanted to be a Washington Wizard.
Yes.
That's his desired destination. That level of player buy-in is huge, especially for a team trying to shake off years of, mediocrity.
It speaks volumes. It tells you the level of commitment we should probably expect from him. And what's really fascinating, based on the internal reporting, is that this wasn't some cold transaction. It was layered with history. He had these pre-existing relationships with key DC executives that helped, grease the wheels on this whole thing.
Okay, so walk us through those connections, because that part of the sourcing was a little confusing on the timeline.
Absolutely. So first, you have to think about Will Dawkins. He's a top exec in Washington now.
Right.
But he was a key member of the Oklahoma City Thunder front office when Trae Young was growing up in Oklahoma, becoming this college star at OU.
So it's a regional connection.
Exactly. It's a regional and organizational familiarity. It creates an immediate comfort level. Not that they worked together in the NBA, but they were in the same orbit.
Okay, and who else?
Then you've got Travis Schlenk, another DC executive who has the most direct link you could possibly have.
He was the one.
He was the man who actually drafted Trae Young number 5 overall back in 2018 when Schlenk was with Atlanta.
Wow.
So you combine those two things, the regional comfort and the original guy who believed in you. It gave Washington just immense confidence to say, he's our guy and he wants to be here.
That structural support definitely makes the gamble feel a little bit safer. So for you listening, how does Washington define Trae Young's new identity now?
He's the undisputed face of the franchise. Full stop. The lead guard, the engine of the entire offense, the foundation. They've gone from a slow, painful rebuild to having a guaranteed star they can market and build around.
And they're just hoping his offense can outweigh any defensive issues.
They are relying entirely on the hope that his offensive gravity is just so immense that it pulls in other pieces and distracts from those very glaring defensive weapons.
Okay, so that covers the Wizards' massive leap. Now let's pivot. Let's look at the other side of this, the Atlanta Hawks.
Right.
For them, this is just the end, the definitive end of an era. After all these seasons defined by Young's spectacular and, let's be honest, often polarizing play, they are turning the page.
Completely redefining their direction. And the sources are so clear about this new identity.
So who's the new face in Atlanta? Why did they suddenly feel comfortable making such a drastic pivot?
The new face of the franchise is Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson.
And their comfort level in making this move is rooted entirely in his unbelievable leap in production this season.
And we really need to pause on this because this statistical reality is the clearest signal of why Atlanta felt they could move on. What kind of numbers are we talking about here?
He is performing at a truly elite level. He's described in the analysis as a young superstar in the making.
Wow.
And when you look at the stats, he is nearly averaging a 20-point triple-double from a young wing. That kind of all-around production, it gives a front office all the intellectual cover it needs to trade a recognized, very expensive superstar point guard. Johnson showed them they had a new identity ready to go.
That is just immense backing for a move like this. And it also points to a broader strategic change under Coach Quinn Snyder, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
They're not just swapping one star for another. They're shifting their whole philosophy away from Trae Young basketball.
Precisely. The strategy now is all about using their depth and focusing on these versatile two-way wings.
Right.
Under Snyder, they're prioritizing ball movement, reliable shooting, guys who can guard multiple positions. They want versatility across the whole roster, not just one guy generating 90% of the offense.
And the analysts loved it for them.
Overwhelmingly positive reaction for the Hawks, which tells you just how perfectly the guys they got back fit this new mold.
So let's break down those acquisitions.
Yeah.
How does a proven vet like CJ McCollum fit into this new wing-focused, depth-oriented strategy?
McCollum is seen as the, quote, perfect veteran player for this system.
Okay.
The analysis sees him as a plug-and-play starter reserve who brings that reliable shooting Snyder wants, and critically, he's a stabilizing locker room presence.
So he gives them scoring without needing the ball all the time.
Exactly. Consistent perimeter scoring without the massive usage rate that Trae Young commanded. He's just a steady, experienced hand for a team that's getting younger.
And there was a fascinating detail in the reporting about an internal catalyst, the thing that gave them that final push of confidence.
Yes, and sometimes it is the guy playing well off the bench who allows the blockbuster to happen.
Right.
The source material specifically highlights the strong play of Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Huh.
His unexpected production, his reliable defense on the perimeter. It gave Snyder and the front office the security to say, okay, we can move Young, simplify the offense, and we can still thrive because our depth pieces are already stepping up.
It's proof that internal development is sometimes the real reason these big organizational changes can happen. Okay, so that brings us to the biggest takeaway, the ripple effect.
The deepest dive insight.
Because this trade, according to all the sources, has a major impact that goes way beyond just Washington and Atlanta.
This is the critical so what for you, the listener. It defines Atlanta's long-term plan.
And what is that plan?
The analysis makes a direct, undeniable connection between trading Trae Young and pursuing a very specific high-value target.
Okay.
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis. Wow. Okay, that is throwing gasoline on the fire. How does freeing up salary for McCollum and Kispert get you to a player of that caliber?
It's purely strategic financial engineering.
Right.
Atlanta's primary motivation was flexibility. By moving Trae's massive contract, they freed up a huge amount of salary space.
So this move now allows them to go hunting.
It allows them to actively pursue a player with a large, significant salary, like Anthony Davis, over the next several months. This isn't just about clearing cap space. It's about positioning themselves to be the immediate front-runner for any top-tier star who might shake loose.
So the Trae Young trade wasn't the end game for Atlanta at all.
Not even close.
It was the prerequisite. Strategic first move to enter the high-stakes sweepstakes for a player who could actually redefine their championship window. They bought an expensive seat at the high rollers table.
Exactly. They exchanged one offensive star for the leverage to go get a defensive anchor and an interior presence. It's a total pivot.
Let's quickly wrap up the commentary on the players themselves. For Trae Young, it's a fresh start. He's going to put up numbers. He's going to put butts in seats. That's what he does.
Absolutely. His stats are a given. His entertainment value is high. But the sources acknowledge this cloud hanging over the move.
Which is?
While he's getting his fresh start, there are significant doubts about the Wizards competing for a championship anytime soon, just given the sheer cost of acquiring him.
And what about the vet, CJ McCollum?
He's described universally as a class act. And the key phrase used is that he now gets a chance to play for something competitive.
It's such an interesting contrast, isn't it?
It really is. One player goes to a situation where winning big is a huge question mark. The other goes where a competitive playoff push is the immediate expectation.
So we're left with two completely divergent paths. Washington gets a superstar foundation, instantly accelerates their timeline, but with huge defensive questions. And Atlanta trades guaranteed star power for flexibility, stability, and the right to target a massive acquisition like Anthony Davis. They gave up a star to go get a different kind of star.
And that leads us to the final thought we want to leave you with. The source material explicitly points out that one player gets to be competitive while raising doubts about the other's path to a championship.
Right.
What does this trade fundamentally say about the hierarchy of power in the league right now? Is future salary cap flexibility, the ability to go chase an Anthony Davis, more valuable than the immediate star power you already have?
A great question.
And now that Atlanta has this newfound spending power, what other star players on significant salaries who might become available are now suddenly in their crosshairs? The dominoes have not finished falling, not by a long shot.